All morning, Anna Collins had been quietly praying for just 5 minutes to sit down. Not for herself, but for her 3-year-old daughter who slept on her shoulder, burning with a fever since the night before. Anna, 31, a single parent, worked as a front desk assistant at the nearby Veterans Assistance Center. With no one to watch her daughter, she'd reluctantly brought her along that morning, hoping she would sleep through most of the shift. When the lobby finally quieted, Anna gently brought her daughter over to the priority seating area, laying her across her lap and covering her with a small blanket. Her shoulders throbbed from carrying both her child and the heavy weight of doing it all alone. The dark rings under her eyes told the story of a night spent tracking a rising temperature. An older man, likely in his 70s, and wearing a jacket with military patches, approached slowly using a cane. His face tightened when he saw Anna. "These chairs are for veterans, not folks with kid issues," he said, voice firm. Anna looked up, speaking low so as not to wake her daughter. "My little one has a fever. I've been working all morning. I just need to rest a few minutes." But the veteran's tone turned sharper. "That's not the point. These spots are ours. You've got other places to sit." Another visitor took out their phone and started recording. Nobody came to Anna's aid. She cradled her child, stood up, and moved to a far corner. The sudden motion stirred the little girl, who began crying, tired, confused, and upset. "I'm sorry, sweetheart," Anna murmured as she rocked her gently. "Mommy's got to get back to work." Later that day, Anna was called into the manager's office. The center director, a man who'd never served in the military but took great pride in backing those who had, sat behind his desk with a firm look. "I'm sorry, Anna. We've had visitor complaints and that video is spreading online. You're no longer a fit for our organization." "But I was just—" He lifted a hand to cut her off. "We can't have staff undermining veterans. The seating policy is clear. My daughter was ill. I had no other choice. The rules are the rules. You should have called off or found other care." No chance to explain. No second opportunity. Anna left, holding her daughter's little backpack in one hand and a dismissal slip in the other. On the walk to the bus stop, her daughter looked up and asked softly, "Did I get you in trouble, Mommy?" Anna pulled her close. "No, baby. You could never be trouble for me. Have you ever watched someone lose their job simply for being a parent? That's not justice. If you believe motherhood is never a mistake, stay with us. What happens next will have you on your feet." A week later, Anna sat at her kitchen table, browsing job listings on her laptop. Not a single response, despite sending out dozens of applications. The viral clip entitled "Mom Insults." Veteran had unofficially blacklisted her in their tight-knit town. Her daughter played quietly on the floor nearby, still recovering from her sickness, thankfully over the worst of it. The stack of unpaid bills on the counter looked taller each day. Rent was due in just 2 weeks, and Anna's limited savings wouldn't stretch much further. A firm knock on the door made her jump. Standing outside was a man in a sharp military uniform, cap tucked beneath his arm, standing tall, yet not intimidating. "Miss Collins, I'm Captain Matthew Reyes with Army Personnel Command. May I speak with you briefly?" Anna froze, instinctively placing herself between him and her daughter, who had darted behind her legs. "I didn't do anything wrong. I was only trying to—" Captain Reyes lifted his hand gently, his expression kind. "We are not here to accuse you. Quite the opposite, in fact. We want to thank you." Anna's face showed clear confusion. The captain handed her a sealed envelope, marked with official military letterhead. "I was there that day, in the waiting room, seated in the back corner. I saw everything, but I stayed silent. I've regretted it ever since." With slightly shaking hands, Anna opened the letter. "After you were dismissed, I requested to review the incident and your work history. What I found was a committed staffer with perfect attendance who'd earned praise for your care toward veterans and their loved ones." Captain Reyes looked at the small girl peeking from behind her mother. "The Army is launching a trial program to hire civilians as family support consultants for troops and their families. We think you'd be an ideal fit." "But I was terminated for showing disrespect." "You weren't being disrespectful, Miss Collins. You were being a mother first. which is exactly what we're looking for. Far too many military families face hardship because the system forgets soldiers are also moms and dads. Anna's daughter stepped out, eyeing the captain's uniform with interest. "My daddy has clothes like that," she said softly. Captain Reyes crouched to meet her gaze. "Does he? That's wonderful." Anna took a deep breath. Her father had been deployed when she was just a year old. He never came back. Recognition flickered in Captain's eyes. "I'm sorry. I had no idea." "No one here does," Anna said. "It's not something I usually share." Captain Reyes rose once more. "The Army is offering you a position at Fort Hamilton as a family support specialist. It includes childcare benefits, medical coverage, and a housing stipend." Anna struggled to process what she'd just heard. "Why me? Is this because of that video? Some sort of PR stunt?" "This isn't about image management, Miss Collins," he replied. "It's about acknowledging someone who genuinely understands what military families go through. Someone who puts their child first, no matter the cost." He handed her a business card. "You don't need to answer now. Take some time. Call me when you're ready." As Captain Reyes turned to leave, he added, "That veteran from the incident, his name is Sergeant Major Howard Wilkins. He served for 4 decades. After learning your story, he personally nominated you for this program." Anna stood silently at her doorway, watching the military SUV disappear. For the first time in a long while, something unfamiliar stirred in her chest. Hope. A week later, Anna arrived at Fort Hamilton, clutching her daughter's hand tightly in hers. She wore no uniform, carried no official badge, just a mother stepping into an unknown new chapter. To her astonishment, the gate guard didn't just wave her through, he saluted before she even reached for her ID. "Miss Collins, we've been expecting you. Captain Reyes is inside the family center." Though surrounded by uniforms, Anna didn't feel out of place. Somehow, she felt like she belonged. Military families bustled about, many with kids, passing signs for childcare, family support, and counseling. Captain Reyes greeted her with a warm smile. "Welcome to Fort Hamilton. Ready for orientation?" As they walked through the facility, he explained, "You'll be part of the family readiness team, helping spouses and children during deployments. Most function as single parents for months or years on their own." "Just like I was," Anna replied softly. "Exactly. You understand what they're facing. Many of our staff don't." When they reached the briefing room, Anna paused at the doorway. There, seated at the table, was the same elderly veteran from the day at the support center. Sergeant Major Wilkins stood when he saw her, removing his hat and bowing his head. "Miss Collins, thank you for being here." Anna hesitated, her daughter partially hiding behind her skirt. Wilkins's gaze softened as it shifted to the child, then back to Anna. "I was wrong that day. I didn't know who you were, but now I've learned enough to realize I made a terrible mistake." Before she could answer, everyone else in the room rose. A senior officer stepped forward, presenting her with a certificate. "For showing the courage to defend a mother's instinct, even when the world turned its back," the officer said. He turned to the others in the room. Miss Collins's late husband, Lieutenant David Collins, served honorably in the 10th Mountain Division. He gave his life to protect his unit 3 years ago. Silence swept across the room. Anna had never spoken publicly about her husband's sacrifice. She'd carried that weight quietly, raising their daughter alone. "We failed you once," the officer said gently. "We will not fail the Collins family again." An internal tribute video circulated the base. Single mother fired after seeking priority seating, now guardian of military families. Eventually, media outlets picked it up, headlining, "Army rights a wrong by hiring the woman." They pushed aside. Anna turned down all interview requests. Her only statement read, "I don't want attention. I just want my daughter to grow up knowing that doing what's right is never wrong." That evening, after her first shift on the job, Anna received a package at her new base residence. Inside, a handcrafted plaque that read, "Family is our strongest defense." Also included was a photo of her late husband in uniform. Attached was a note. From veterans who understand true service, welcome home, Collins family. The gift had been organized by Sergeant Major Wilkins and signed by 40 veterans who publicly voiced their support for Anna after hearing the full story. The man who had once demanded her seat now stood solidly behind her, defending her right to every bit of support she'd rightfully earned through her husband's sacrifice. A sacrifice she had never once used to seek special favors. Have you ever been misunderstood, only for someone to become your strongest ally? Second chances matter. A month later, Anna launched a soft skills workshop for military spouses. She taught everything from interview skills to managing emotional strain during deployment. At each session, several attendees brought young children. Anna often balanced her own daughter on her hip, offering professional advice with quiet maternal care. Just as she had on that unforgettable day at the Veterans Center. After one workshop, a young soldier approached her privately. He'd lost his wife to postpartum depression. "If she had seen you holding your child that day," he whispered, voice trembling, maybe she wouldn't have felt like such a burden. Maybe she would have known it was okay to ask for help." Anna didn't shed a tear, though her voice carried a soft emotion. "Then I'll say it for her, for others who need to hear it." What started as a small trial initiative quickly turned into a lasting part of Fort Hamilton, with inquiries pouring in from bases nationwide to replicate Anna's family care model. She introduced a straightforward framework dubbed the Collins Method, ensuring that no parent would ever be forced to choose between looking after their child and keeping their employment. Military childcare centers expanded their operating hours. Temporary parent-child workspaces were set up across various departments, modest adjustments that brought immense relief to families in distress. Half a year into her position, Anna earned a promotion to program director and was given approval to onboard 5 new team members, all either military spouses or surviving family. One calm Tuesday evening, as Anna was exiting the base with her daughter, she spotted someone near the gate. It was the same woman who had filmed the viral clip that had cost Anna her former job. She had come just to say she was sorry. "I never asked why you needed that chair," the woman confessed. "I only saw what I assumed." Anna's daughter, now 4 and thriving, gazed at the woman without recognition. The event that had altered their lives was already slipping from her young memory. "Would you be interested in attending our next workshop?" Anna asked. "We're covering how to steer clear of snap judgments." The woman gave a quiet chuckle at the kind correction. "I think I should." That evening, Anna updated her presentation with a fresh slide. "Everyone you meet is facing a battle you can't see." Under it, she placed 2 photos. One of her being escorted out of the Veterans Center, and one of her addressing a room filled with military families. Same woman, different moments, both real. In the years ahead, whenever new military families arrived at Fort Hamilton, they were introduced to the Collins philosophy. That real strength isn't about who stands unaccompanied, but about who lifts others when they can no longer move alone. Sometimes defending your rights gets misread as selfishness. But if it means sheltering your sick child, refusing to abandon them in their need, that's never wrong. Anna lost her old job, but found her way back in a way no one predicted, through the quiet backing of those who once turned away. Because compassion isn't written in rulebooks. It shines in a child's eyes when they're held tight, even if only briefly. The strongest people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who rise again, bringing others with them as they ascend. If you believe standing up for your child is always right, even when the world says it's not, subscribe to our channel. We share stories others often overlook. "That seat's for veterans, not for people with kid issues," the older man had said. The young mother replied, "I need rest too. I've worked all day." A clash unfolded in the waiting room. She was dismissed that same afternoon. But just a week later, military vehicles arrived at her door with an offer no one could have expected. "Why her?"